Hi, I'm Jonathan Kore, and I present to you Gatananku. So, as a child growing up in the northeastern part of Nigeria, I was heavily affected by the Boko Haram crisis that needed a lot of humanitarian aid. So, I got into the humanitarian space quite at an early age, and I've been working in the space actively for about 12 years. Within that time, I've realized how necessary it is for stories to be told, not just the stories of the people that are affected in those communities or the stories of the brave individuals that are able to come to those communities even in those times of their need and work. And hopefully our goal is that we are able to do this to the best of the abilities that we have.
Gatananku is a PR company that focuses on telling stories of troubled African communities from the perspective of those affected and also from the perspective of those trying their best to mitigate the effects of these troubles in those communities.
We choose Gatananku as a name because it reminds us of our experiences with storytelling during our childhood. Gatananku is a call and response commonly used in the Hausa tradition for storytelling, and every time we hear that, it evokes certain emotions in us as we are about to listen to stories that fascinates us.
Growing up, we watched the best of storytelling, Tales by Moonlight, and we had a lot of other African stories that were told on our screens. And we related to them because we could see ourselves in those stories. And that is why I feel like storytelling is like the best gift you can give to anybody. It has been passed down. Our parents told us stories about where they came from. We now can pass those same stories to our own children and to our friends. And that's why we're here. We're here to tell stories that you can relate to.
How we started Gatananku was quite very unofficial and fun, so to speak, because we had just finished from a concert and we were gisting, and then we realized that there was a gap in the media space. And seeing that we as a couple of friends had the skills to meet these needs, we decided to come together and start the Gatananku. I serve on the Gatananku team as the designer, and I get to create meaningful materials alongside other creatives on the team that gets to show issues that affect African communities and its people by telling their stories to the world through multimedia.
Telling African stories is not just about videos. Telling African stories is about building those African organizations in such a way that they are able to tell their stories themselves. So Gatananku is a complete media hub. We are able to take up a variety and range of services. We are able to provide social media management. We are able to provide cinematography, photography for events, and a lot of other things that help us show African excellence.
At Gatananku, we tell stories, African stories, and African stories are like cinematographers. They sit behind cameras for too long, or in other places where they're not seen, and that is what we're here to do. We bring light to stories that have not been seen, heard of, or even touched. And I promise you that you would enjoy the welcome to Gatananku.
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 Gatananku. Gatananku. Gatananku.